about whatever piece of their work we're talking about. When our listeners become readers and they either buy the book or they get the audiobook and they listen to the audiobook and it's over, or they physically close the cover or they electronically close the cover and they're done with the book. Never quote the weather to a sea lion. They're finished. Do you want them to just have enjoyed themselves with the stories that you provide in the book? Is there some other something that you want them to take away?
Well, I'll tell you, I do want them just to enjoy the stories. It is a book of stories. And storytelling is the oldest medium that we as human beings, exercise. And so that was a decision. Don't make this a deep memoir, dark details, or, maybe light details. Make it a book of stories. So every time there was a choice about that, I had to remind myself, tell the story. That's what you do, and you do that best. Even when we were doing our juggling at crossing Europe, we were voicing what we were doing as we were doing it. It was jokes, it was gags, it was humor that, and the audiences loved it. Could I take a moment, Suzanne, and just say quickly that even the French loved us when we were butchering the French language. So, and we did. I mean, when in English we would say, if you please. In French it was s'il vous plaît. We would say, and we had a rubber chicken in our act, Leonard the rubber chicken. We would say, s'il vous poulet, if you chicken. Anyways, my point is, it was always a story that we were creating. Paul was the not so bright juggler across the way from Michael, who was crisp and clear and articulate, and it made for wonderful comedy. So I urge you to have a look at that website. If you want to buy the book, buy the book. I like when people buy the book. And the audiobook, I think, is a gem. Max Sandel he does me better than me. I think it's going to be very good. We don't have a publication date yet. We will. We'll let you all know. Or Suzanne, will you let them all know?
We probably can't, but I think that maybe we can put it on the, I think we could probably put it on the information that's going to be on my host page. Yeah, I think we could probably do that.
That makes great sense. I can tell you what, it's a great honor doing this with you. I get to talk. I like to talk.
Well, obviously I do as well, and I have one little tiny, I mean, we can sit here all day. I mean, it's no question. I do a little research. I do many things, and this is one of the things that I do. And in the course of some of the research that I've done, I want to follow up on one thing you just said, because it's so important, I think. You talked about the importance of stories, and the brain research that I have seen talks about what happens to the brain when you hear stories. Your brain lights up in a whole different way than it does with anything else that you do. When you hear stories, your brain lights up. Paul Binder, you have made my brain absolutely glow today. It's been such a wonderful pleasure to talk with you. You're just so much fun, and I want to thank you so much for being with us. This was just delightful.
I'm the one who wants to express thanks. It's been a great honor, a great pleasure. Let's have more fun.
I'd love it. Remember, you can find Paul Binder's book, and the title is Never Quote the Weather to a Sea Lion, on Amazon. And don't forget to go to his website. You won't be sorry. It's just wonderful. You've been listening to the Books on Air podcast, brought to you on webtalkradio.net. You can also hear this podcast on iTunes as well as iHeartRadio. I'm Suzanne Harris, and I hope you'll join our next Books on Air podcast, because remember, you never know who's going to be here or what we're going to talk about. Thank you so much for listening.